and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. With 4 race starts, we're going to start with our Category 4 riders, then 3, 2 and 1. Our riders lined up in yellow, that is our Category 1 riders. In green, our Category 2. In blue, Category 3. And Category 4 in red. 4 of our riders, all of whom from the hotel here and racing. And Talia Idzik is here. Nicola Takova, Amelia Velt and Gabriela Guerra, separated by about 14 floors. There you go. That's a weird stat. And look at that, we got Michael Kaminsky jumping in as well. Piccolo in the front here in Category 3, climbing strongly up to the very front of the race. Category 3 leader Piccolo now goes into the lead.
Columbi and Bruni on the back of Guerra and McCarthy. They're hanging with the gold and silver medalists from last night. On the right-hand side of your screen, 500 metres up the road is the head of the race. And at the moment, the head of the race is indeed the leaders in the Category 2 race. Dana Wagner kicking, but Marine Morn is going at 9 watts per kilo. She's really coming here for this. They're neck and neck along the side. Marine Morn is going to take this from Dana Wagner, I think, unless Wagner's got something else. She kicks again at 10.2, but it's too late. Marine Morn from France takes the win.
Hadlock's winding. Has Van Rossen gone too early? She's going to get caught here. Will she get caught on the line? It's going to be close. It's going to be Van Rossen who takes it from Hadlock. 2 leading riders. Prado opening the gap at 8 watts per kilo. She started to gap Giovanni. This is going to be Prado. This is going to be Prado for the line. German Prado kicks. She answers everything that Giovanni threw at her. When we get to the line, German Prado takes the win on qualifier race number 3 in Category 2. It is Prado who is kicking up here. She's coming to the finish. German Prado is going to be our first winner here on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club in the Category 2. German Prado from the Philippines, your race winner here today.
Hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It's qualifier race number 1 for November. There is no Matt Payne today. It's just me, Emma Martin. Matt's voice, well, it's not quite back to where it should be at the moment. So he's going to miss out. He's going to have to sit and watch the racing from Australia today, because that is where we are heading for qualifier 1 in November. Well, I can't quite believe we have got to November of 2024, but we have. And we haven't been on the Wollongong course for some time. In fact, it's the July final. It was Wollongong for the women, but we are back today. 35 kilometres of racing, 502 metres of climbing. And you can see it laid out in front of you. 2 ascents of the Wollongong climb. It's around 2.1 kilometres with an average gradient of 4.8%, but you can see from that profile, it kicks, it drops, it kicks again, and it does kick to over 17%. And well, the course along the way, it is pretty much more climbing outside of the 2 climbs than there is in the 2 climbs combined. Well, our yellow Category 1 are in the pen. They will be the last riders to leave the pen today. Category 2 in green, Category 3 in blue. But the first riders out of the start pen today and on to the course in Australia, Category 4 in red. Well, 34 riders on the start sheets today, and the ever-present Petit Fours, the team with Simone Francis heading them up down there in the pen. We're in with Alzat at the moment as they wait for the final seconds to tick down. So Zabala, Bele, Bremner, Dowling, Warren, Barco, Tejeros, all in the pack today, all coming out of the pen. And now it was indeed last week in the October final. Arrayas from Godel, Sonnerson, Francis and Tejeros, who were the top 5 on the Lafitte. Now a very, very different course today facing our women. But what we do tend to see in Wollongong in Australia is very, very close racing, and the racing all coming back together at the end, because from the top of the Wollongong climb to the finish line, well, that's around 6.8 kilometres. So a long run downhill, and then it rolls through into the finish line. And often we do see time gaps coming down between groups, and groups sweeping each other up on the road. So exciting racing today in Australia. So Jones right on the front of the group at the moment, rolling out. And some great riders in the pack today. Joanna Warren is here. Katie Bago is here. Alzate, we've seen Zabala, Idzik, Lloyd, Dowling, Sarasu, Tanglian, Al-Kabi is on the start sheets today as well. Bremner is back. It's going to be really interesting to see how she is going. We've not seen her for a little while, so that's going to be a really interesting race, and I think it's going to be a close race today. Now, one of the things about the course in Australia, in Wollongong, is they come out of the start pens, then they have this fairly flat run into the city, and they come sweeping across the lake and onto the bridge. This is it here, the start of the bridge. They come in, they take a left, they take a right, and then the road sweeps upward. And you can see that on the profile section. So on the top right-hand corner of the screen, you can see the profile line that the riders are about to face. The riders, the pack, well, that's the yellow line you can see. The vertical line on that section, you can see they're about to come into a short I'm going to say that again. A short, sharp section. That is a good tongue twister should you want to practice. Well, they're about to come in now around the right-hand bend, and the gradient will go up. And this is the first pour on the course where we do start to see the group getting stretched. So category 4 coming in to the climb, and you can see 7.2, 7.3% at the moment. The gradient really does kick, and it gets steeper towards the top. So the tail on the group now starting to stretch as they come over. This is going to be the run for the finish in around 3 laps. So Alvarez Hoyas, the rider, just off the back with Kirchner and Flores. It's looking like 17 riders are going to go over in a group, but the group is stretched in category 4, whilst on the left-hand side of your screen, category 3 are in the start pen waiting, starting 5 minutes behind category 4. So category 3 today, 2 teams on the start sheets, the Gear Goddesses, De Gracia, Van Rossum and Tompkinson. Strong team there. And then Grind My Gears, another strong team. Hadlock took 5th place last week in the final. Takova, Kokonin and Holweiler, those 3 not shy of making a podium either. So Grind My Gears taking 2nd place in that team competition last week. Really, really strong riding from these category 3 women in blue. So if you are new to the Sunday Race Club, Category 4 leaves the start pens first 5 minutes before Category 3, 10 minutes before Category 2, and 15 minutes before Category 1. And then, of course, Category 1 being the faster riders on the road do often make the catch, and we do see racers coming together. So category 4 have indeed been split. You can see the pack on the right-hand corner of your screen. And on the bottom left of that screen, you can see the red dots back down the road, looking like we really are seeing the move in that category 4 pack as away go category 3. They are up and out on to the course. 35 riders in total in category 3 today, and Holly Bergin joining the mix again, back from category 2. In fact, we've seen a little bit of movement up and down because Stefani Piccolo leaves category 3 this month and moves up to category 2 as well. Well, Bergin, we can see her there. The pack have come pretty quick out of the start pen. In fact, Bergen is leading the charge. Gemma Daniels is in there as well. Wilhelm is there too. Bryson, Hamilton, Simkin, Kekkonen, all in the mix. So a fast start from category 3, and you can see one or two riders just getting caught out there. Now that graphic on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, really key for seeing the action and what is happening to the pack along the course, and it gives us a really good idea, not just of what's going on behind, but in the latter stages, what's going on ahead as well. Now, Rebecca Johnson, ever present wherever she travels around the world, and it's always great to see the turbo being taken away wherever she is and being set up in new locations across the world. Well, Johnson was indeed racing from Norway earlier on this year alongside the camper van, and another location today for Rebecca Johnson. And it's going to be interesting to see how she goes today, because she does tend to favour a long climb at the end of the course. Well, that's what she got last week on the Jebel Hafit, but today this course is a little bit different in Australia. The Wollongong course, well, the last just shy of 7 kilometres of it are indeed a downhill and fairly flat run to the finish line. So Bryson, Hadlock, De Gracia, Kekkonen, Geraldo, Elos, Schultz, all in that category 3 pack. The two riders distanced by the fast start, well, they've not made contact again. On the right-hand side of your screen, it's Ferron we're looking at the moment, just in trouble here. 3 seconds back on the pack, you can see a front. So 17 riders now clear in that category 4 race after that push into the city across the bridge. But you can see some stretches on the group as well at the moment, because this terrain is constantly changing in Wollongong. And you can see that on the top right-hand corner of the screen, the gradient at the moment, 2.4%. And it does continually change, and we do see riders constantly being distanced off the back and the group getting smaller. So it's an interesting course, and the main aim really is to just dig in and see how long you can stay with that group. Well, category 2 and category 1 sat in the start pens waiting and watching, because category 4 and category 3, those first 2 starting races out onto the course, and both groups already split. So category 4 split quite early, not quite at the 5 kilometre mark, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4 groups on the road in that category 4 pack. Category 3, well, they are just up and over the kicker into the city. You can see the stretch on the group. Now, what we do tend to find is in the latter starting races, because of the strength of the field and the length of the climb, it's short and it's sharp, we often see more riders staying in the group, and that's what's happened in category 3. So it's looking like, other than the 2 riders distanced early, category 3 is pretty much rolling all together on the other side of the bridge. Well, they are rolling all together on the other side of the bridge, and the pace has come off the group completely. We're in with Melissa Simkin at the moment, rolling around 2 watts per kilo. So the group regrouping, the pack forming and rolling into the city. Category 2 in the green jerseys will be the next category away today. Now, 30 riders on the start sheets today, no teams in the mix, the team competition being part and parcel of that end of the month race. Now, in the mix today, the big news, German Prado. She has indeed gone up to category 1. So congratulations to Prado, strong rider, progressing now to category 1. It's going to be really interesting to see what she can do there, and a really well-deserved promotion. That leaves that top spot open in category 2. Well, Stefani Piccolo has come up from category 3. Lundin was second last week, Falensky third, Giovanni fourth, and Harmsen fifth. So that top spot is up and open at the moment, and away go category 2. Petter Antonello is in the mix and leading the charge out of the start pen. But the rest of them are very, very steady start here. Alzat Yaramillo, Samuel Walkenhurst, Kong, Lundin. Now, Kong could go really well on this course. I know she has often in the past ridden strongly in Wollongong, but one of the riders I'm looking forward to seeing today is Gabriella Norden, returning to racing on the Sunday Race Club and really starting to put in some great performances, which is fabulous to see. Kimberly Miller on our screen at the moment. You can see the view out of her window, the fan right in her face, because she's going to need that cooling system as she progresses through Wollongong. Another rider for whom this could be a good race. Manshandi is in here, Vittori, Embring, all in the mix here. Now, one of the things that is really interesting, and I'm really quite looking forward to seeing, is the ability of these riders and racers to climb here today. So now, let me just give you a little bit of a update on the times that we're expecting them to go up the Wollongong climb. Now, the Wollongong climb, the first ascent comes at 9.7 kilometres into the race. It's 2.1 kilometres in length with an average gradient of 4.8%. But it has two parts to it. It kicks up, it descends into the valley, it then kicks up again on the second part of the Wollongong climb, and the first section topping 16%, the second section topping 17%, right up at the end of the climb. And it really is very, very deceptive. Now, it's 2.1 kilometres in length, and let me give you a little bit of an indication as to how long it's going to take our riders to ascend that climb. So Gonzalez Rua holds the fastest time at the moment in category 2, 5 minutes 44 seconds. Giovanni should climb well today. She's a strong climber, and great to see her there. Category 3, Nicola Takova holds the fastest time, 6 minutes 32 seconds. Hannah Goodall holds the fastest time in Category 4, 7 minutes 39 seconds. And in Category 1, it's Catherine Fua who holds the fastest time, 4 minutes 54 seconds to climb the Wollongong climb here in Australia. So Johnson, Bergin, Daniels, De Gracia, Hyde, Hill, all in the mix here in Category 3. And you can see the stretch on the group. And that really is that rolling terrain through the city. But it's the Category 4 riders who are up and into the city the furthest. They are now around 2 kilometres from the base of the climb. Well, 3 groups of riders out on the course at the moment. One group down in the start pen, and that's Category 1 in those yellow jerseys. Well, Wendy McAlpine in the mix in that Category 2 pack. Rebecca Johnson firmly ensconced in Category 3. And Nina Dowling is the rider we are in with in Category 4. And 17 riders in that pack in Category 4 last time we were with them. So it's been really interesting to see in that first 8 kilometres how many riders have been dropped from that group early in this race today. Now, Category 3, you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen that we're seeing more riders distanced from the group here. Interesting to see what's happening now. They are coming into the City Beach Sprint, which is one of 2 sprints on this course today. Give us a bit of an indication as to how fast the packs are rolling. Nina Dowling in Category 4 currently holds the fastest time through the segment with British Bremner, Annalyn Tejeros and Maria Jose Zabala. And you can just see the first pack going underneath the banner on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. 1, 2, 3 small groups behind as we're watching Bonilla go off the front of the group and actually really put in a sprint through this segment. So Bonilla, I think, is going to take the fastest time through here. Gina De Gracia, Catherine Thompson, Gina Van Rossum, all rolling at the front of the pack behind, but they're going to bring Bonilla back in shortly, but she has indeed set the fastest time so far through that sprint. Category 1, 25 riders on the start sheets today. Ablock International, Hermansen, Holdcroft, Soderstrom and Penner. Holdcroft took 5th place last week. Afito Skier, Kalman, Kolkowitz and Bassoni. They're in the mix here. Sidlick, Bjarhead from Peak Performers, Koisnan, Fua and Bruni from the Sweat Sensations. Merle Bruni taking 2nd place last week, but it's Pia Kuma rolling off the front of the group at the moment and pushing on with Guerra in too. Now Guerra taking the silver medal at the World Championships. last weekend. Fabulous to see her back. And there we go. We have a great shot of Gabriela Guerra in the pain cave on the bike. Look of concentration on her face. Now, the start always really important. You really don't want to get dropped from the group like we saw in category 3. Those early riders having difficulties coming out of the pen, but not here for Guerra, not here for the category 1 pack. Everybody out of that start pen nice and clean today. So Gabby Guerra in the mix, in the bunch. Manson is there, McCarthy, Kuma, Engstrom, Eck. Koinstinen is here as well. Great to see Mina Koinstinen back in the mix. Now, Durin Prado has come up from category 2, and we did mention that earlier. Great to see what she can do over the next few months in category 1. Mary Kate McCarthy took first place on Sunday last week after taking first place in that gold medal and rainbow jersey at the World Championships on the Saturday. A bit of rest this week, hopefully, and it'll be interesting to see what she can do in Wollongong today. Now, I imagine this course is probably not her favourite. Really, really dedicated to those long climbs, and that's where she really excels. The shorter, sharper climbs, it's going to be interesting to see what McCarthy can do because we've not been here for a very long time. Now, Roberta Bassoni is also on the screens at the moment. The fans are rolling as they come into the first climb on the course. Now, when we were here last time for the July final in this women's race, it was Fua from Bruni, Holdcroft, Koinstinen and Velt who were the top 5, but it's McCarthy on the front of the pack at the moment. Koinstinen, Kalman and Engstrom paying close attention. Catherine Fua is there as well as they sweep round that right-hand bend, and the climb is in front of them. Now, this will be the run in for the finish as well for our women. But on the third time up this bridge, this course is essentially laps of Wollongong, and it's around 2.5 laps, and the finish coming up and over the top of this early climber our category 1 riders are at the moment. So it is Fua leading them out, Van Hove, Van Shaw in there as well, and Kelsey Van Shaw putting in a storming performance, the young rider from South Africa at those World Championships. Absolutely brilliant to see the future of the sport well and truly safe in the hands of riders like that. Well, Category 4, they were indeed the first out of the pen, and 17 riders made the selection through the city. They're on the Wollongong climb at the moment, and you can see the profile of the course at the top on the right-hand corner of your screen. We're in with Johanna Warren, and it's her stats you can see now. It's Katie Bago. You can see the change of colour on that right-hand name list. It's the rider who is highlighted in blue. It's their stats we are looking at on the screen. So Bago at the moment just shy of 300 watts at the moment, now just ticking over in the green, which indicates that the rider is in the draft. Now, the time elapsed, the rider's heart rate, 189, 190, it's ticking up at the moment on the climb, and also the rider's cadence. So category 4 are on the climb, category 3 and category 2 are rolling into the climb at category 2. Now coming through the City Beach Sprint. So Bonilla from category 3 currently holds the fastest time through this segment, but it's looking to me as though we are not seeing any of the category 2 women take the opportunity to really push on in the sprint here. The pack is just going to roll through. So the pack roll through the sprint. That's the end banner you can see. Alzat, Antonella, Larson, Vittori, all very, very happy to be sat in that bunch. Well, they are indeed very happy to be sat in the bunch, and the category 2 pack roll through. And it is a big, big bunch. 22 riders in that category 2 bunch at the moment. So the pack rolling really strongly and rolling really fast because of the size of the group, and staying in contention going to be absolutely key at that pace with these constantly changing gradients, the short ups, the short downs on the roll into the Wollongong climb. Well, you can see the difference in distance. Category 2 have covered 6.3 kilometres. Category 1, 3.2. 5 minutes separating them on the start. So Fua, Eck, Van Hove and Engstrom in that Category 1 pack. Sarah Lundin, you can see her down there in the pain cave with those Swedish socks. Loving the little extras. I love a pair of socks. You know, Matt, my co-commentator, when he's in the studio, might like a casquette. Me, it's all about the socks, and Sarah Lundin socks at the moment doing the business and really highlighting that pedal cadence as well at the moment. So Lundin, in the mix in this group of 22 riders that is the leading group in the Category 2 race. They have indeed started to already pick up the back markers in the Category 3 race, and you can see those blue dots on that bottom left-hand corner of their screen. But it is indeed the Category 3 riders that are about to, well, they already are on the base slopes of the Wollongong climb. Category 4 are further up the climb, and you can see those red dots in front of them as this Category 3 pack. It's a huge pack of riders. Now, just to note, if you've not been with us on the Sunday Race Club before, the green skin suit with the 3 on the back in that pack indicates the leader in the sprint competition. The leader in the climb competition, once we go over the top of the climb, will be wearing a polka dot skin suit in each of the 4 categories. Well, Hill, Bergin, Elos, De Gracia, Hadlock, Montoya, Johnson, all in the mix of strong climbers in this Category 3 race. And Gina De Gracia on our screen at the moment. You can see her up and out the saddle as she climbs. It's around 10% at the moment, so a steep section will drop, and on the second part of the climb it does kick to 16-17%. But De Gracia sitting back down onto the bike in real life, concentrating and being at the front and the head of this climb at the moment. Hadlock on her wheel, and you can take a look and see the back of the group now starting to get stretched. Riders now starting to get distance off the back of the group. They need to ensure they go over the top of these 2 climbs together, because the change of momentum on the descent really quick in Wollongong, and really important to be there. Well, Geneva Elos is indeed there. She's right at the front of the group as she comes up over the top of the first section of the Wollongong climb. So Elos leads over the Category 3 race. Catherine Montoya, Claudia Hyde, Rebecca Johnson, all on the wheel. In fact, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 riders looking at the 4 of this group. There's 7, there's 8, there's 9, there's 10. They're all coming back to the wheel as they utilise the momentum to kick into the second section of the climb. Well, Category 1 aren't through the City Beach Sprint yet. It is indeed just up the road ahead of them, and the pack rolling steadily at the moment. Kolchinsky is here, so is Columbi, Penna, Van Hove, Sidlick is in the mix as well. Great to see. So Carolina Kolkowitz as well is here. Mel Bruni. These riders all in this group, nice and tight as they swing around the right-hand bend and underneath the green banner for the City Beach Sprint for the first time. Well, you can see by the shape of the pack, none of the riders popping out into the wind to contest the sprint here. The current fastest time being held by, she says, just scrolling up on her screen, Bonilla from Category 3. And this pack of Category 1 riders just rolling through, happy and content, not to stretch their legs, but to just continue to roll. So the pack coming through nicely. So the Category 1 race field coming through at a steady pace. In fact, dropping into 48th position is the fastest rider in the Category 1 race, Kelsey Jade Van Shaw. But it is indeed Solange Roa Bonilla in Category 3, setting the fastest time, 22 seconds, 0.245. Catherine Tompkinson, Gemma Daniels, Kim Bonilla, Rebecca Johnson, Gina Van Rossum, Catherine Montoya, Laura Takanos, Claudia Hyde and Melissa Simpkin all in that same category 3 pack. But you can see Benilla did indeed push on ahead of the pack, 4.5 seconds clear of the pack rolling behind her. So great to see Bonilla stretching her legs through the first sprint of the day. There are only 2 sprints. The same sprint, it is indeed City Beach Sprint done twice because we are lapping today on this course in Wollongong, Australia. So you can see all 4 races at the moment on your screens. Category 1 at 6.5 kilometres. They are well and truly a long way still from the Wollongong climb. Category 2, well, they are about to come onto that climb. In fact, the foothills are there. Category 3 are coming towards the top of the climb, and you can see the push and the split in the group at the moment. And Benilla, the leader in the sprint competition, not with the front of the group on the climb. And Category 4, well, they are down and over the other side. Now, this is interesting because Dowling, Lopez, and Tejeros, these 3 riders on the screen, are off the front. Georgina Jones 1 second back, Natalia Idsek 3 seconds back, and then the gaps start to get larger. Bago, Zugala, Alzat on 20 seconds back off the group. So it's looking like, I think we're going to see a group of 5 form now in this Category 4 race with a chase group behind. So Georgina Jones in the Category 4 race leads that group as Natalia Idzik closes down and comes onto the back of the pack. Category 3 are on the climb at the moment, and well, it is all happening. They can see the polka dot banner ahead of them signifying the top of the timed segment. It's Hadlock, Hill, Van Rossum, Hyde. These are the riders at the front of the race at the moment. And it is so interesting to see here because these 4 riders pushing on. They're going to go underneath the polka dot banner first. In fact, Philippa Hill is going to lead them under. It's not a big gap, and there's 4 riders further behind. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that's 9 riders, I would say, at the front of that Category 3 race going over the top of that climb together. So now for these 9 riders at the head of the Category 3 race, it's all about timing and coming together on the descent and not getting dropped. There's a small descent and then a little kicker, and as we see Hadlock just roll past Hill on that. Simkin is in the mix as well, but these 9 riders in Category 3 will not want the group behind to catch them, and there is indeed 1 rider, I think, behind solo before a group back. So interesting times in the Category 3 race, but it's looking like Vasquez, Simpkin, Hadlock, Hill, Hyde, Johnson, all in that mix. So Category 3 and Category 4 are on the other side of the climb. Category 2, well, they are climbing at 11 kilometres at the moment. They've got 800 metres still to go. And Category 1, well, they are about to come on to the climb for the first time. They've still got 1.3 kilometres. This is a very, very steady race start from Category 1. So Kelsey Jade Van Shaw, Joanna Kalman, all in the mix as they roll towards the foothills of the Wollongong climb. But Category 2, well, they are now truly immersed in its slopes. So you can see, take a look at the group. Absolutely one long line of spaghetti down the road. But Giovanni, Marb, Filensky, Lundin, Davidson, Vittori, Giannatti are all there, but at the head of the race, well, it's Sophie Giovanni, Nelly Larson and Gabriella Nordin who are right at the fore. The first 3 at the moment leading this group out, leading them up towards the top. The gradient's steep. It's just shy of 10% at the moment, but it does get steeper towards the top of the race. And Nordin, Giovanni and Marbs, Davidson, Lundin, Vittori, Filensky, all together at the moment. Well, the question is, can they stay together? Can they stay together long enough, well, for the next 500 metres to go over the top of the climb together? Or are we going to see a smaller group of just the first 4 go? Because Giovanni, Nordin, Larson and Marb look very, very strong at the moment, and Nelly Larson on our screen as well. And you can see the look of concentration because she wants to be right in that front group if a split does form, because Giovanni, Marb, Larson, Nordin, the riders at the front looking strong, and every now and again we see a small gap back, but those riders are hanging in there at the moment. So 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders at the moment in the leading group in that category 2 race, but we've got 3 strong riders at the front desperately trying to get away. As the Category 2 riders try to get away at the top of the climb, the Category 1 riders roll through the polka dot banner at the bottom, and the pack is strong and all still together, having had a fairly steady start to this race here, the qualifier race number 1 for November on the Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh. Well, it's Mel Bruni who leads them into the climb this time. Guerra, Kolczynski, Bassoni, Sidlik, Van Shaw, all in the mix towards the front of the group, all paying attention to what Bruni is doing. So Bruni being matched by Guerra at the moment. Kolczynski and Van Shaw. Kuma is there as well. So is Sidlik. So strong riding at the moment, but it is absolutely neck and neck, bike by bike. Bruni and Guerra at the moment at the front. It's these 2 riders putting the pressure on, and the stretch is now on the group. One rider just distance off the back, as you can see, but the stretch now really starting to come. Gary Guerra on the bike, up and out of the saddle, and again that look of concentration, that strong cadence of out the saddle at the moment, because this is the climbing section. This is the section she really enjoys. She's coming towards the top of the first section of the Wollongong climb, and Bruni and Guerra, fabulous climbing at the moment. Fua now coming to third wheel, so is Kolczynski. She's coming to Kuma and McCarthy. So McCarthy now coming up as they hit the top of the first section of the climb. They're going to drop over into the dell before they climb again. They're now carrying that momentum into the base of the second section of the climb here. Really, really key. So the stretch now on this Category 1 group, evident on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. The pack that rolled into the base of the climb all together after the steady start in Category 1, all now split as it is Kolczynski, Guerra, Bruni and McCarthy, Fua and Kuma who are at the front of that race. Category 2 well and truly now rolling into the city. Category 3 are there as well. Category 4, well, they're the leaders on the road at the moment, but this is a strong Category 3 leading group, and 9 riders in this leading group at the moment in Category 3. They've picked up 1 or 2 Category 4 riders, and this is where we will start to see riders starting to be swept up now. We said 9 riders in that group. Philippa Hill is just off the front of the group at the moment. Interesting move by Hill. She's 5 seconds down the road, and interesting choice, I think, is how I'm going to leave that. So Hill 5 seconds off the front of the group, the Category 3 leaders motoring now and working their way into the earlier starting race field. 15 of those Category 4 riders now ahead of Philippa Hill. So Hill in that polka dot skin suit leading the Category 3 race side by side with Jacqueline Kirchner from the Category 4 race. And that's because Category 3 started 5 minutes behind Category 4 out of the start pens today, and Hill, the leader in that Category 3 race, working her way through that Category 4 race field. Well, interesting here. I said it was an interesting choice for Philippa Hill to go out. She was 5 seconds up the road when we joined them. She's now 9 seconds up the road, and that is interesting because the chase group behind do not want to let a climber like Hill go, even in an innocuous part of the course. So very, very interesting to see what is happening in that Category 4 race at the moment. But jumping back in with the Category 1 race, they are now towards the top of the Wollongong climb, and it's Fua, Bruni, Guerra, McCarthy, 4 riders at the front, but they are not alone. Columbi is there as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's 6 riders in the leading group in category 1. And it's Kolchinsky that is with them as well. So Bruni, Fua, Kolchinsky, Columbi, McCarthy, and Guerra. The 6 riders leading the category 1 race now, as they very, very shortly will see the polka dot banner signifying the top of the Wollongong climb for the first time. So Guerra, McCarthy, Bruni, Fua, Colombian, Kolchinsky. In fact, Kolchinsky's going to need to push now because Kolchinsky is just starting to get distance off the group, and she really doesn't want that to happen, because what will happen is the fact that this group now will pick up momentum, they'll pick up pace, and you can see the push on the front. Take a look at the push on the front to get that momentum on that downhill, to drive into that momentum and really get the pace up and running. 62 kilometres, 64 kilometres, and the climb at the moment, McCarthy setting the fastest time on the climb, 4 minutes 56 seconds. Fua in 2, Bruni in 3, Guerra in 4, Columbi and Kolchinsky, the top 6 times. Take a look at the times from the category 2 women. Strong climbing there, because Giovanni setting the fastest time now in 10th place, because these are, of course, live and updated, because Bassoni, Engstrom and Van Shaw are the 3 chasers in the category 1 race. Interesting to see. Kolchinsky's lost 10 seconds to McCarthy on the climb, and that was all in those final sections. It's going to be really interesting to see whether she can make that gap and come back. I don't think she's going to, because Kristen Kolchinsky are not able to go with the pace at the very height top section of that climb, and the momentum that the riders on the front have picked up on the descent have really started to gap her. So Kolchinsky now at 16 seconds. We've got a leading group of 5, then Kolchinsky, and then a chase group of 3. So the question for Kolchinsky now is, does she sit and wait for the chase group? Does she try and close the gap? What does she do? Well, it's going to be an interesting position to see what choices Kristen Kolchinsky makes. She's 17 seconds back off the lead group, but a further 20 seconds, back to the chase group. Well, and that is just Bassoni, Van Shaw and Engstrom not descending as quickly as Bassoni. So this is going to be interesting now in this category 1 race. So category 1 at 13.7 kilometres into this 35 kilometre race. The category 2 leaders are at 16.4. The category 3 leader is at 18.8, and the category 4 leaders, the riders out of the start pen first, are 20.5 kilometres into this 35 kilometre race. It's qualifier 1 for November on the Sunday Race Club, and category 4, well, they are at the head of the road at the moment. 5 riders leading that race. They're 45 seconds clear of the chase group of Bago and Zugala. Vink is also with them back there, but this group here, Lopez, Dowling, Tejeros, Idzik and Jones. This is a class group of category 4 riders. They are at the 20.7 kilometre mark. Now, very shortly they'll be coming through the City Beach Sprint again for the second time, and then rolling at the 26.3 kilometre mark into the Wollongong climb for the second time. When they get to the top of the climb, it's then around a 6.8 kilometre run into the finish line, and the finish line being fairly technical because they've got that bridge climb on the way in. Now in with Annalyn Tejeros, you can see her in the pain cave at the moment. The look of concentration on her face. She wants to stay in this group because, excuse me, the chase group are not far behind. Note to self, don't laugh and talk at the same time. Never a good thing. So Tijeros on your screen at the moment. She's in the group and she's on our screens, and she's made that selection in that category 4 race. So such a brilliant move to go with Jones, Tijeros, Dowling, all in that group. Oh, this is interesting. So, Bruni, McCarthy, Guerra, Colombian Fua, the 5 riders clear on that descent after the Wollongong climb for the first time, now coming back and into the city over the bridge. Interesting move because Kristen Kolchinsky, well, it's looking like Kolchinsky may have well made the move. So Kolchinsky was indeed around 17 seconds back last time we saw her. But for me, that is Kolchinsky at the back of this group of 5. She's very shortly to make it a group of 6. So phenomenal work from Kristen Kolchinsky. As we see Guerra in the pain cave on the group. It's a steady pace at the moment from Guerra, around 3 watts per kilo. But Kolchinsky has been able to get back on. Now, that is some move because Kristen Kolchinsky was at 17 seconds. And then a further 20 to 30 seconds behind her was the chase group, including Sidlick and Van Shaw. Well, Kolchinsky has closed the gap down considerably, and she is now on the back of the group, and it's a lead group of 6 now, with a chase group of 3. And that chase group, well, they are still at 20 seconds. So this is really interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do you know, I want to say there's more riders in this group, but this is actually the chase group, and it's really interesting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think that's 6 riders in this chase group. So this is an interesting move at the moment because you can see the riders further down the road and you can see the group behind. And this group is at around 24 seconds to the leaders. So 6 in front, 6 behind, and around 24 seconds is the time and group distances at the moment in the category 1 race. 300 meters, well, around 250 meters to 300 meters separating the 2 groups. So this is really going to be a case of what does each group do at the moment. And Bassoni, Sidlick, Van Shaw and Penner, the chase group at the moment, one long line, really drilling this at the moment and taking it turns on the front at the moment to try and close the gap down. But it's looking to me as though both groups are pretty much travelling at the same speed. So 35 kilometres an hour from the chase group, 35 kilometres an hour from the lead group. Unless the chase group picks up the pace, they're not going to close that gap down. So Kolchinsky, Fua, Bruni, Guerra, Colombian, McCarthy, all part and parcel of that lead group. We can see on the right-hand corner of your screen. The left-hand side of your screen is the chase group at the moment in category 1. Both groups travelling at the same pace. Not going to close it down. Well, whilst we leave category 1 to their 2-group battle, we're in with Philippa Hill, the lone leader at the moment in the category 3 race. You can see the chase behind, mind you. 11 seconds the gap at the moment. Philippa Hill went out on her own. She had 5 seconds last time we saw her. She's got 13 seconds at the moment. But the chase group are not worried. She is not out of sight. She is not out of mind. They can still see her. And it's less than 100 meters separating them from her at the moment. She's in the polka dot skin suit for category 3, signifying the fastest time up the climb. And they will very shortly be coming into the second ascent of the Wollongong climb at 26.3 kilometers into the race. But there is no panic in that chase group at all. In fact, there's some very, very steady riding. And some very, very relaxed riding in there as they come through. Well, Philippa Hill comes through and underneath the green banner, signifying the City Beach Sprint for the second time. So currently on lap 2, the City Beach Sprint. I need to put my teeth in today. Tijeros, in category 4, currently holds the fastest time from Lopez, Dowling, Idzik and Jones. But I can tell you, looking at their times, this time through the category 4 race, have just rolled through the sprint section, pretty much like Philippa Hill has in category 3. And the rest of the category 3 bunch. Now, they've picked up 1 or 2 red jerseys there. Those are the Category 4 riders that started ahead of them. And this is the nature of the Wollongong course. If the earlier starting categories get caught by a later starting category, if it's not anywhere around the Wollongong climb, if it is on the transition sections, it's highly likely they are able to stay in the pack because of the draft effect and the fact that they can take an easier tow from that group. Often in the latter stages of the race, we see them all come together because of that nature of the race. Now, we can see the 4 categories on our screen at the moment. Category 1, Category 2, Category 3 and Category 4. And they are all racing and battling in the Sunday Race Club for prize money. And the prize money pot is strong on the Sunday Race Club, but the individual competition running for all of the qualifying races, the team competition coming into play at the end of each month. Now, you need 2 qualifying races to qualify for that final. It's a short month, November, 3 qualification races. So in those qualification races, the first place in Category 4, 2,160 AED through to 432 AED for 5th. That team's classification coming in on the monthly final. Now, that's Category 4. Category 3 in the individual classification, 3,600 AED for the win, 2,880 for second, 2,160 for third, 1,440 for fourth, and 720 for 5th place today in that team's competition. Now, it does just get better because in Category 3, first place 3,600 AED for first, through to 720 AED for 5th. So Category 2. Yeah, Category 2 then does get even stronger as we see the Category 2 prize money. Well, Category 1 is the top of the tree, and we can see their first place today picking up 10,000 AED. Second place will pick up 8,000, third 6,000, fourth 4,000, and 5th place today will take away 2,000 AED. Now, it is a currency exchange as always. So Emma's exchange today, we are keeping things simple. I am in the UK, so we're going with pounds. Pounds sterling today. So 10,000 AED in pounds today, 2,107 as of Emma's exchange. If you win the individual competition in Category 1 today. Now, that's a nice little take home for a Category 1 win in Australia. £2,107. 10,000 AED. Well, this is Nikki Lloyd at the moment. She is from the UK, actually around an hour and a half from the studios here, from the Full Speed Event studios. So should Nikki Lloyd is in Category 4, but she can still take away prize money, obviously in Category 4, and those pounds in her pocket. But if she was in Category 1 today, she would be taking away £2,107 for the win. Well, Nikki is in Category 4 and she's riding strongly. It's great to see her back on the bike and back in the mix in that Category 4 race. This is the Category 1 race. And, well, this chase is really interesting because the chase group are starting to motor a little. The gap now 17 seconds, so it is coming down. They're at 20.4 kilometres into this 35-kilometre race. Will they have the will? Will they have the strength? Will they have the coordination and commitment to bring down this chase group? And it's going to be really interesting to see if the makeup of this chase group is class. Fua, Bruni, Guerra, McCarthy, Kulczynski are all in this leading group. The chase group, well, that is another matter, and they are motoring really strongly. In fact, on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you can see them. The lead group just coming out from the green blob, which is a Category 2 rider they've caught. The chase group not that far behind. Now, the leading group in Category 1 are at 21 kilometres. Category 2 are at 23.5. Category 3 at 25.2 and Category 4 at 26.4. So it is interesting because the Category 4 leaders are back onto the Wollongong climb for the second time as Category 1 continue to roll through the city. And at the moment in Category 4, it's Annalyn Tejeros leading the charge on the climb for the second time. Nina Dowling is close on her wheel in that green skin suit. Don't be fooled. She is a Category 4 rider in that green skin suit. Elena Lopez is there. Natalia Idzik, Georgina Jones are the 5 riders in this leading group. Jones now really starting to have to push, and Idzik, because they're starting to get distance from the 3 riders at the front. Tejeros, Lopez and Dowling doing a phenomenal job now on this climb for the second time. So they are about to peak over the top of the first climb here, the first segment of the Wollongong climb. They'll then drop down and they'll then come through. Now, who parked those cars there? But Tejeros, Lopez, Dowling, Idzik and Jones doing a sterling job at the front. The chase group 38 seconds back, and you can see them. There they are between the leaders of the Category 4 race and the leaders of the Category 3 race, because Philippa Hill is doing a sterling job moving up and through the packs of riders. She's now got a good strong gap on the Category 3 chasing group, and said it was dangerous to let Hill go away because she is such a strong climber on this course, and dangerous moves letting her go away through the city, and she's just incrementally crept a second and then another second and then another second. And now she's got to the base of the Wollongong climb, her strongest part of the course, and she is well and truly away and clear. So Philippa Hill doing the business in Category 3, 5 riders at the front of Category 4. It's really interesting to see where the rest of that Category 3 pack are and what the gap is now to Philippa Hill as she continues to climb really strongly on the course and on the climb. The riders around her are indeed Category 4 riders because she's pretty much working her way now into the top 10 on the road. Riders also working their way strongly are the Category 2 group, and it's looking like we've seen groups come together here because that is now a huge pack. We did have 8 riders leading the Category 2 race, but as they have transitioned from one ascent of Wollongong to the next, it's looking like we've seen groups come together because that is more than 8 riders in that leading group, if my eyes are not deceiving me. And well, it could always be the case that I put the contact lenses in the wrong way around this morning, but I don't think I did. And the Category 2 pack sweeping up Category 3 riders and continuing to catch on the road and roll strongly. They're just shy of 40 kilometres an hour at the moment. The pack is moving really well. Back into the Category 1 race. Now, Guerra is in the green skin suit. McCarthy is in the polka dot skin suit. The rest of the pack are in yellow jerseys. And while it's Celine Columbia we're seeing just putting a little push on the front at the moment, it's only a small climb and it's only a little bit of a kick, but just testing the rider's legs. So Celine Columbia just pushing on here. It's Mel Bruni who closes the gap. Guerra, Fua, McCarthy and Kolchinsky are the riders in the group. So 6 riders in the leading group. Kolchinsky had got distanced just at the top of the Wollongong climb last time, but sterling job from Kolchinsky to come back into the group. So Celine Columbi looking strong on the bike at the moment. You can see her in the pain cave on the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, working hard and working strongly. This is a hard race for it doesn't matter what category you are in. It's hard racing here on the Sunday Race Club, and it's great racing, as you can see, because this is tight racing. This is real elbows out racing with your peers. So Kulczynski, McCarthy, Bruni and Columbi all in this group together. Fua is there as well. Kulczynski is in the mix too. And they are motoring their way now towards the second ascent of the Wollongong climb. They've got around 2 kilometres till they get here. And then it's the run to the finish. And I say get here because all 3 of the other race fields are on the climb for the final time. And category 3 9 riders went into the bottom of the climb together. Philippa Hill was the rider off the front of that field. The time is coming down to Hill. She's now 11 seconds clear. Was this a good move from Philippa Hill? Has she done the business, or is this group now going to come down and catch her? Bonilla, Hadlock, Hyde, Van Rossum are all working hard behind. They've got the carrot out of front that is Philippa Hill. Ella Vink, the category 4 rider, is between them at the moment. So there are riders on the climb outside of their category, enabling you to have a little carrot and just to work it, pull it back, another carrot, pull it back, another carrot. Doesn't necessarily need to be in your race field to motivate you for the catch. Well, Nina Dowling at the head of the race. She's leading the category 4 races. She goes underneath the polka dot banner of the Wollongong climb for the second time today. She's a strong climber, Nina Dowling, in category 4. She's established a gap on the rest of the group. Now, just as a reminder, it was 5 riders in category 4 who went into the base of the climb, and Dowling has ridden away from them. Tejeros, Lopez, Jones and Idzik are all still together, but they are behind Nina Dowling. She's gone it alone, and the question is, can she stay out front alone now to the finish line? She's got around 6.5 kilometres to see if she can do that. It's a descent, and then we've got the technical run into the finish with the climb at the end. And let's not forget that chase group are chasing behind, but Philippa Hill and the rest of the category 3 pack are coming as well. They're sweeping up people in their wake, and they're about to make the catch on Philippa Hill. They're coming towards the top of the Wollongong climb for the second time, and Hill had a strong gap of just shy of 20 seconds coming into the bottom. It's now down to 7 as Hyde, Hadlock, Bonilla, Johnson, Beltran, Van Rossum and Vasquez climb this mountain like there is no tomorrow. Phenomenal climbing here in category 3 to bring Philippa Hill back. Hill is holding this now at around 7 or 8 seconds. Can she maintain that over the top and then stay clear? I'm not sure she can, but well, she's done the business already today in terms of breaking clear of the group. And I'll tell you something, the chase group are coming, but there's another group of category 3 riders further back as well. They are not that far behind. Well, the category 3 race is going to be an interesting one because, are these groups going to come together? What is going to happen on this run to the finish? They're around 7 kilometres now from the finish line, and it is all on now because Hill is 7 seconds clear as she goes underneath the polka dot banner for the second time on the Wollongong climb. She's now got the run to the line. Can she stay clear? 6 seconds now back to Hadlock, Hyde, Van Rossum. It's a class chase field chasing Hill down the other side. On the climb at the moment in category 2, well, Nordin, Marb, Giovanni, Larson, Giannatti, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to say 5 because I'm not sure that it's going to come back together. I think it might. So 5 riders, 6 riders, I think now at the head of this category 2 race as they are coming towards the top of the Wollongong climb for the second time. They're pretty much very shortly going to run into the back of the leaders of the category 3 race because I think they're coming together on the descent at the moment, and this is going to start to be really, really interesting, this run to the finish line. Category 1 now on the Wollongong climb. They're coming to the top of the first part of the climb. It's Fua, Bruni, McCarthy, Guerra, Columbi. Kolczynski was in the mix as well, but one of the interesting things you can see on the bottom left-hand corner of the screen is we've got a very clear leading group of 6. We've then got a gap back to a chase group. It's a big chase group here today. They're 17 seconds back, and it's a huge group. It pretty much, I think, was 2 groups on the road. They're now coming together, and this group here, though, of riders at the front of the race are going to need to stay together and work together to stay clear of the chasers behind. So 6 riders leading the category 1 races at the moment. As they hit the dell, they take the momentum, they take the pace as they swing around the left-hand corner and on to the final part of the ascent. This is steep. The Wollongong climb, the second part of the climb, kicks 16-17%. It kicks really early on, and then it kicks in the latter stages as well. You can see, there you go, double figures. We're at 14% at the moment, 15%, 16%, 17%. You know, it doesn't give you any respite. Just shy of 18% that tops out at on this climb here in Wollongong. And wow, it really, really challenges our riders. But Guerra, McCarthy, Bruni and Fua, the 4 riders at the front of the group of 6, really, really strong racing today in Category 1. They're at 27.7 kilometres into the race. They're the only group of racers still on the climb. The others are now all on the descent and the run into the finish line today. Let's take a quick look at that finish line profile and the run into the finish. And well, pretty much from this 28 kilometre mark where our Category 1 racers are. So the Wollongong course in Australia at 28 kilometres, which is where our Category 1 leading group is. They're on the Wollongong climb for the second time, the red section on your screen at the moment. Then they've got the steep descent and then the technical run into the finish line at 35 kilometres. And I say technical because you can see very, very clearly some bumps along the way. They're short, they're sharp, they're kickers. Likely to see attacks happen, but we're also likely to see groups of riders start to come together because it's a fast run because of the momentum that you're carrying from the descent of the Wollongong climb. The riders do take that sweep in across the lake onto the bridge and that right-hand bend where it then starts to kick, and that's where we tend to see the attacks for the finish line start to go. But it's still a good run to the finish line because it's not at the top of that climb. There's still a section on the run in to the city before the banner comes. So it's all about timing of the finish, and we tend to see groups go in together, and at the moment this group climbing really, really strongly. So McCarthy, Bruni, Guerra, Columbi, Kolczynski all in the mix at the moment. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Have we seen Kolczynski drop off the back again? Oh, I think we might have done. Interesting to see. Yeah, we have indeed. So Kolczynski not quite able to stay on the climb. It is very short and very sharp here today, but we are seeing 5 riders go over together. A few gaps now taking place, but Kolczynski had brought down the gap from 17 seconds last time and had been able to close it down. But at the moment, it's McCarthy and Guerra, the 2 riders riding strongly here, and indeed Kate McCarthy setting the fastest time up the climb at the moment, 4 minutes 53 seconds, and I can tell you that is the fastest time to date in the women's race on the Wollongong climb by, well, 1 second. So McCarthy setting the fastest time up Wollongong climb on lap 2, 4 minutes 53 seconds. Guerra right on her heels. Bruni is there. Columbi 4 seconds back with Fua. Giovanni. Well, Giovanni setting the fastest time in category 2, and that is a strong time as well. Larson, Vittoria, Nordin, the riders rounding out that top 4 in category 2, and you can see there Kolczynski has dropped 39 seconds on the climb this time. Well, 39 seconds, I think, is too much of an ask for Kolczynski this time round. It was 17 seconds last time, the gap that she pulled back. 38, I think, is too much of an ask. So it's going to be interesting to see which of those 5 leaders in that Category 1 race come in and take what may well be a sprint. But Philippa Hill has indeed been caught in the Category 3 race. So interesting to see here. So Hill, Hyde, Johnson and Vasquez. These riders all in the mix here in this leading group now at 33 kilometres. So 33 kilometres of the 35-kilometre race now complete for the Category 3 leaders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 riders, I think, in that leading group. And interesting to see who blinks first. So the question will be who puts the attack in. You can see the climb coming. So on the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see the blip. You can see the climb. That's the bridge we're talking about on the run into the finish. It's very, very flat until they get there. Ahead of them is the Category 4 race. They've caught all bar 7 of the riders in that Category 4 race. Bago is indeed the next rider they're going to see as we just drop back in with the Category 1 race. And it's McCarthy in the polka dot skin suit, Bruni in the yellow jersey. Guerra is also in yellow, and these 3 riders is looking like on the descent have been able to gap Columbi and Fua. So it's looking like the 5 have now become a lead group of 3 and a chase group of 2. Well, it's all happening out here in Wollongong in Australia for qualifier race number 1 of the Sunday Race Club on MyWhoosh here in November. Well, I can't believe it's November and the year is coming to its final few months. But Bruni, Guerra and McCarthy giving us brilliant racing, just like the women have done on MyWhoosh all year so far across all 4 of our race categories. Mel Bruni doing the business here, Gabriela Guerra and Kate McCarthy, the 3 riders together as we drop back in with the Category 4 race. And I'll tell you something, Alina Lopez is coming, but Annalyn Tejeros can see the finish line, the UCI banner. Can Elena Lopez bring back in Annalyn Tejeros? I don't think she can. I think Tejeros is going to take the win here. Lopez is doing as much work as she can behind, but Tejeros in Category 4. Phenomenal riding from Annalyn Tejeros today. She sees the UCI banner. Your winner on the Sunday Race Club, Category 4, first race of November, Annalyn Tejeros. So Tejeros takes the win in Category 4. The pack come round for Category 3. So the Category 3 pack come into the climb, and this is the push. So Johnson kicks. Johnson does what Johnson does best, and that's climbing. So Johnson puts in the attack first. Can Rebecca Johnson hold this to the line? Angel Hadlock is responding. So is Philippa Hill, Kim Bonilla. They are all in the mix here. Rebecca Johnson's going to have to push deep, dig deep, really work, because the kick is coming big at the moment from Hill. 10 watts per kilo from Hill. She's got to still run to the line. That yellow banner is not it. It's the UCI banner further down the road as Philippa Hill. Pace is now dropping off, but Hadlock's there. Hyde is there. Take a look at Hadlock. We're in with her at the moment. You can see the effort in real life from Angel Hadlock. Can she take this from Philippa Hill? Philippa Hill, I think, is going to take this. Philippa Hill takes Category 3. Claudia Hyde, Angel Hadlock are coming through in second and third in that Category 3 race. Great racing Phenomenal racing in category 3, and what a finish after that lone breakaway from Philippa Hill. She gets pulled back into the group and then she wins the sprint. Well, Serena Vittori is pushing on at the moment in the category 2 run to the finish. It's Vittori, Giovanni and Larson. So Giovanni, Vittori and Larson, the 3 riders in category 2, in for the run to the finish, and Giovanni is now pushing. She's at the head of this race. Vittori and Larson are there. What can they do about this? But Sophie Giovanni has pushed strongly at the moment. Nelly Larson, we could see the effort. The run is a long run to the finish line. Can Giovanni hold this? Can Vittori do anything about it? And I think Sophie Giovanni is going to take this today in category 2. You can see her in the pain cave. You can see her on the screen. Sophie Giovanni takes the win in category 2 today from Serena Vittori and indeed Nelly Larson. Phenomenal racing in all of our categories to come down to a sprint today. The question is category 1 going to be a sprint as well? Well, I've got 1,300 metres to go, and it's McCarthy, Guerra and Bruni at the moment. I tell you something, Celine Columbi is just 2 seconds back as well. Phenomenal riding from Columbi today to bring this back. Question is, has she brought anybody else back with her, or is it just Columbi? And are we looking for a 4-up sprint today? I think we are. So 4 riders leading the category 1 race at the moment. The chase group behind are at around 30 seconds. Now, it's a big chase group, but 30 seconds, they're not going to bring that down and they're not going to close that gap. They are a good distance back. Well, on the left-hand side of your screen is the leaders of the Category 1 race as they sweep onto the final bridge of the day. This is where we've seen the attacks go. The attacks go long, not hold. The attacks come later and miss the mark. It's going to be interesting to see who gets the timing right today from Mel Bruni, Celine Columbi, Gabriella Guerra and Kate McCarthy. We've seen the kicks on these women regularly week in, week out. We saw Guerra and McCarthy, Bruni sprinting it out. Columbi is the rider leading the charge at the moment, 8 watts per kilo. Celine Columbi goes, but Mel Bruni responds at nearly 11. Bruni comes up and over the side. Mel Bruni goes into the lead now. Columbi responds. Guerra starts to kick. McCarthy's coming hard from behind in the polka dot skin suit, but Mel Bruni is leading the Category 1 race at the moment. Can she make this hers today? The pack are coming behind. What can Bruni do? Can she stay clear? McCarthy is coming, so is Guerra, but Mel Bruni is going to take the win today in qualifier race number 1 on the Sunday Race Club. Well done, well deserved, Mel Bruni. So Bruni takes the win from McCarthy, from Guerra and Columbi. Catherine Fua is going to come through for 5th place today here on the Sunday Race Club. Phenomenal racing, 0.9 of a second separating the top 4 riders in that Category 1 sprint. So your winners today in the Sunday Race Club, 56 minutes, 52 seconds. That race took Mel Bruni in 1, Kate McCarthy in 2, Gabriella Guerra in 3, Celine Columbi in 4, Catherine Fua coming through for 5th place. In Category 2, Sophie Giovanni took the win from Serena Vittori, Nelly Larson, Brigitte Falensky and Gabriella Norden coming through to round out the top 5. In Category 3, Philippa Hill took the win from Claudia Hyde, Angel Hadlock, Kim Banilla and Lorena Beltran come through for the top 5 in Category 3. And in Category 4, Nina Dowling took the win from Annalyn Tejeros, Elena Lopez, Georgina Jones and Natalia Idzik round out the top 5. Well, I don't know what to say really. That was absolutely amazing riding. Great, great racing for the first qualifier of November. Sometimes Australia just really, really brings it, and the racing is always hard. And the sprint finishes on the Wollongong course, absolutely phenomenal across all 4 of our race fields today. Great, great racing, setting up November, absolutely perfect. If you want to come along and join the Sunday Race Club, you can. There are still 2 opportunities to qualify for the November final because there are 3 qualifying races this month before that finale. Jump on board, head over to MyWhoosh.com, click on the events page. All the information you need about the Sunday Race Club is there. There's also lots of other things you can do. You can jump on for a community ride. You can jump on for a training session. You can join the live coaching. They are happening Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday every week. There is lots to do on MyWhoosh. We would love to see you there. You can catch up with me at biking_Emma on Instagram. But of course, we are going to be back shortly for the men's race. They too are heading to Wollongong. Until then, well, enjoy your bike racing. If you're out for a ride, don't forget to catch up later. We'll see you soon. Goodbye.